Welcome back.
After several technical difficulties.
That's just how it is.
Due to our Hawaiian Taco Bell signal.
Yeah, the hamster died. That was in the back room, so.
I had to get a new hamster for the Wi-Fi. Oh, yeah.
No, we're back. Got everything situated. Everything's clean. Back to normal.
Sounds clean.
That's good. As long as the actual sound's clean, that means the podcast doesn't have to be clean.
Fuck yeah.
There's nothing clean here.
Yeah, if you came for clean, you should turn it off.
Yeah.
Now.
Get that.
Not then. Now.
Exactly.
When will then be now?
Soon. All right. But no, we were actually having a really good conversation, at least on the fact that, what was it? On the fact that, at least, we're talking about success and how, what was it? It's not so much, because I really want to hit that mark again. We were talking on the fact of basically jack of all trades, master of none, and how basically you realize, like, through you pushing yourself and having that discipline of basically coming in earlier, staying later, and really honing in on the work. I think through that, what was it? You hit one of the most fundamental parts of just honestly kind of just the fundamental parts of just what would be like a better life, basically finding purpose. The whole fact of, like, at least being proud of
your career.
Yeah, enjoying your career, being proud of what you do. That's the thing. What was it? There's a big part that I figured out. I figured out, but I heard someone else say, I forget who it was. I think it was a guy from the military. But he said, discipline through freedom. You have to work hard. And if you really want to enjoy this, you got to put forth the effort to enjoy what you do. If you're just lazying around, then you'll know why. Like, you hate your job. Just like, oh yeah, I hate this. I mean, a person can really love flipping burgers all their life. They really wanted to do that if they really work hard at it. Because it's like, oh yeah, I'm proud. Because, it's that whole initial factor. Like, once you clock out, you kicked ass that day.
Yeah, it's, that total, it's being just committed. It's waking up to, people and stuff, midlife crisis. First younger people and stuff, they start out, they're like, we're going to get off work, I'm going to get to be with my friends and everything else like that. So they're looking for that time off. Well, in order to really, really, get that time off, it's you committing, to do your best while you're at work, and not being that person that's going to be, expendable. You want people talking about you when you're not there. Like, I wish, I wish Caleb was here today. I wish Sean here was today. I wish Dave was here today. Whatever. I wish they were here, because you already know that those are the people, when they're there, they make the difference. They turn the tide at work. Even if the day's shit, you know that, this guy's going to show up and, he's going to give it to you. He's going to give you his best and stuff while he's there. And it makes you feel good. It makes you feel wanted. But it's like going all these places and you don't know anybody, and setting the example.
Right.
And people see that. And, not all people see it. They don't. No. Some guys are still, some women, some men, they're still in that rut to where they don't understand that if they made that real commitment towards a career, whatever the career, whether it be fast food, whether it be, high end, CEO, if you're not making that commitment, then the rest of your life drags.
Yep.
Everything's catching up. And even that time off that you do have, you're constantly thinking about, man, I cut it short and I've left myself, you're always leaving yourself something extra.
Mm-hmm. You try to go on, you're physically on a vacation, but mentally you have that in the back of your head. You can't really enjoy that time off because just like, I know I'm leaving, like, what was it? That hellfire you left a week ago, you got to come back and deal with all the shift and shift through all the ashes that you left.
Yeah, that's why everybody's looking at you. Everybody like, you got a case of the Mondays, which anybody that says that should be shot. But because yeah, I get it that you don't want to be at work, but you better get used to it because you're going to spend more time at work than you are with your family or your friends.
Yep.
So while you're at work, make that commitment.
Yeah.
Make that solid commitment. Same with school. Study. Be into it. That way, you're not trying to close the gap on the end of the semester or, the end of a project. You're not like, oh, I put this off. Maybe it's because you're, even fearful of having the conversation. Like, I'm going to have this conversation about this project where, for me, I used to shy away from, when I first was superintendent, I used to hate telling my project manager that, by the way, this is something we didn't see. And it's going to cost us $20,000, and it was something that was missed. Mm-hmm. Now, the more I put off that bad news, the worse it gets. It doesn't get any better.
Yeah.
So I've learned that, to totally get out in front of it. If you see a problem, announce it. That way everybody can, your team, because it's not just you.
Yeah.
It's the people around you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to also lead into, leadership. Everybody's like, I hate being a leader. I don't want to be that guy. I've heard it a million times. I just want to be, I just want to just build something, as far as, the construction aspect. I just want to be the lowly carpenter, the electrician, the mechanical guy. I just want to show up. I just want to get home. That isn't going to get it.
No. And those people who say, like, I don't want to be in that leadership role, the leadership role will find you. Because no matter what, just how like I am with my team, there are moments where I got to get my project done. Because it's not so much that even like, yeah, we have legitimate leaders, generals, bosses, CEOs, managers, all this mumbo jumbo. But it's still the matter of fact that if you individually aren't doing your work, you got to be a leader in your own self and tell yourself like, hey, what was it? I got to get my shit together and tell my team that just like, hey, this project you have me on, like, it's going to be longer than it is. And you cannot be that asshole like in the zombie films that don't tell the group that you got bit or some bullshit like that. No. You got to be that guy who's just like, hey, we got a fucked up situation here. We got to deal with it right now because that's going to help the entirety of the group. And that is your role as that's you becoming a leader that you didn't know. Sometimes you got to make a decision that's just like, oh, this is going to affect the whole group. I got to pull on that leadership role and actually execute here. And if you don't do that, dude, you're going to get the whole group infected.
Yeah. You'll end up being invited, into it, and it's like this. When you get invited to it, like the first time I made foreman, all these carpenters around me was like, oh, you're probably going to be foreman. They're probably going to ask you to be foreman. And I was like, that's cool. That'd be great, but, right now I'm doing this right now. So I didn't think about it,
Right.
Kept pouring myself into what I was doing. And they did come to me. And, they came to me. It was lit lunch. They sent the foreman that was there to another project. And they came and asked me if I wanted to be foreman. And I was like, yeah. And about 1 o'clock that afternoon, like 12:30, everybody was like, congratulations. By 1 o'clock, nobody had talked to me.
Yeah.
And they were like, I'll tell you one thing. The best thing for people to learn is to be in that management position, and to also understand what's going on with the money, like how much each person is getting paid, because that creates this urgency within you where you understand how much is getting paid to everybody and how much is left on the bone as far as the money on the project. And you really get to give it, you get an inside look.
Mm-hmm.
And if the people around you and stuff were saying congratulations at first and now they're not talking to you, that's just them being the pawns they are. They're like, oh yeah, it's great when you make it. Yeah. And then when you do, they're like,
hey, fuck that guy.
Yeah. The guy that's always like, I can do it better is the guy that will never have the balls or the fortitude, mental and physical fortitude, to stand up and do something. He'll never be the guy that's like, we're going the wrong way, or we can be doing this better, or you guys can be moving faster.
You also have that, yeah, I was going to say, you also have that sense of tribalism among the group. As soon as you were on like the ground floor or whatever, you're with you were on the front lines with them. But now that you're kind of went up in command, it's just like, he's not one of us anymore. It's just like, oh, now you're dealing with bigger money and stuff like that. And like, whether it might be coming through jealousy, whether it might be coming through tribalism, whether it might be coming through just people not having that fortitude and stuff like that, it's just one of those factors that just like as you see yourself moving up in ranks, there are just people who are either comfortable or they just don't want to see that, they just don't want to see what's over that hill, or they don't want to climb up that mountain and stuff. They're comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
They're comfortable where they're at, and who knows? Maybe that was where they wanted to be, and more power to them. But the whole factor of just like having disdain for someone that's moving up and stuff, I don't know. It's just something that you see a lot, and we see it in both of our like. Anytime you have a job where it's just always the factor of like someone that moves up or change positions and stuff like that, it's the whole fact that it's just like even down to the factor where like even a friend, like, oh, you're all from the same neighborhood, maybe one guy's, like you have all these guys doing blue collar jobs, and then you have a guy like me coming in, doing coding and stuff like that, and he's just like, you can like, or the guy who left the neighborhood, or the guy
you know what's up?
Yeah.
If they're your real friend, like a real friend, they're going to support you, and they're going to try. They should be trying to ride your coattails and study every move you make.
Yeah.
So they can either ride or pass you.
Exactly. And you got to surround yourself with, I wouldn't even say successful people. You got to surround yourself with go-getters, because that's the matter of fact. Because to be honest, there are really successful people who absolutely do not deserve or get super lucky in that whole position. You have to understand it. I think that, like with that saying, you kind of have to change it a little bit now. It's not just simply hang out with successful people. You got to hang out with positive go-getters. Because if you just surround yourself with, ruthless killers, your what was it? Your mental game will be crushed because you can't even trust the mailman coming to give you stuff. You'll just end up being like a complete asshole. And also the matter of fact that if you just hang out with a bunch of yes guys who just are like, they're rich, but it's a matter of fact that they're getting pushed around and stuff like that, you're going to end up being right there with them. Then you're going to end up on a court case or something, taking the blame for something. Just like, oh, I didn't know they were doing anything bad. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Another thing is to save your honesty for your mom. And another thing is when you're in a position and say, you were one of the Indians. Well, always remember, Indians talk Indian stuff, chiefs talk chief stuff, meaning that when you become management, you speak to management.
Mm.
You don't convey your doubts or your innermost fears to the people that are below you. You do not do that. It's the worst thing you could ever do.
You really have to.
Yeah, you have to have some intestinal fortitude. And you need to step up.
Yeah.
And a real leader doesn't. You convey no doubts because you're a leader.
Well,
and even though they hate the leader,
mm-hmm.
the last thing you want them to do is to doubt.
Yeah.
If they have doubts in your ability, they're going to sink you from under.
Yeah.
I'd rather get my head taken off by. Yeah, I'd rather have my head taken off by upper management than I would some guy under me. It's like, I don't know if he can do it. Like, who gives a fuck what you think?
Right.
Like, the fuck back to work.
No matter how many floors get knocked off the tower, as long as you have a solid foundation to rebuild on, you'll be good. As soon as that foundation goes, you're fucked.
Yeah, like everybody has an opinion like assholes below you. Like if you're listening to what your employees are saying, like if you're not like completely fucking them over all the time,
yeah,
and you're not a douchebag dick or a predator at work,
yeah,
just have the confidence of being committed to the job, and everything else will follow.
Mm-hmm. People will lead by example.
Yeah, and I look at everybody like when I go to work, I look at everybody like like they're tools in my toolbox. Like that's my favorite wrench. That's that's the screwdriver. That's that's the pry bar I like to use. Whatever it is, it's like I always say it's like picking it's like you're a kid and you're picking your kickball team. You're like, I need somebody fast. I need somebody that can pitch. I need somebody that can run the bases, or, field it, all this. And that's how you look at those people. You look at them as like, what can I use? You look at them as assets. And yeah, it is cold math. And you can have relationships with them out of work. But when you do that, do not undermine yourself and talk about work. If you get out with them, you talk about, maybe what you're into, the game.
You might as well talk about your sex life rather than work.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta stay.
Never bring up work.
Right.
It's
like, hey, you heard about this? You want to join a call with me? As long as we're not talking about business, let's talk about something.
Yeah.
No, I want to talk about what about bonuses next year? Like, no. But, this cult that I'm joining, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's never anything, it's like once you're in management and stuff like that, you talk to management. That's where your relationship is.
Mm-hmm.
Talking to anybody and stuff that you're leading or having a close relationship will create something that, you'll have to feel that relationship out. Is this person somebody that, takes their career seriously and you're kind of mentoring them?
Yeah.
Or are they somebody that is using you, to see, is there a chink in the armor?
Yeah.
Is there a way in? Can I undermine you?
Mm-hmm.
Sales, I couldn't imagine being sales. They'll steal clients off of one another. I mean, there's industries that are way more cutthroat than, what I'm into. Like, I don't have to worry about somebody knocking me off where I am.
No, if anything, I would probably say my industry would be more cutthroat.
Mm-hmm.
With programming, especially outsourcing. Oh yeah, you'll get you'll get the rug swept out from someone that's halfway around the world.
I almost pissed myself.
Again,
golly, talking about Blindside, I was thinking about the guy in the cubicle over. You're like somebody halfway around the world will fuck you.
Yeah, that's usually how it is, because it's just that factor of, and again, it's what was it? And I don't want to sound like that dude where it's just like it's them people or something, but no, it could be someone from anywhere in the world can come in and just take your job, because with programming, shoot, like I said, I was just working from home today and I got a few things done, and what was it? My week is set and we're good. But it's just that matter of fact that there's some I don't want to, what was it? It's not like one of those things where you have to keep it in the back of your head and then you just become insane about it. But it's just one of those things you have to understand that there's a 15-year-old that knows more about programming than I do. And that's just how it is. But it's the matter of fact that I'm already here and I have the experience and I have a personality, I have something that I can sell upon. And I still have to push in that work.
Yeah, you have to, it's like me, every day. And this is the great thing that I'll say, that I wouldn't say to my own family, but I'll say to anybody out there that's listening, that I have the time being away from home and being away from friends to absolutely commit myself to this job. And then after work, I can spend time getting better and sharpening my sword to where when the next person comes along, I can cut them down.
See, that's where that's where I need to go.
This isn't my last stop.
Right.
It's just not. My goal is $250,000 a year. $500,000 a year, $900,000 a year. It's to keep climbing. And it's a hostile takeover. It's always a hostile takeover. And the only way that you can put yourself into the position of that is learning more and more and more.
Mm-hmm. What was it? That's
I want people to, be in an office someplace saying my name. I wish we had him there. If we could, I wonder if he's available. That's what you want, is people talking about you that aren't even close to you. They're just holy shit, you mean Caleb Woods? Yeah, the Caleb Woods, yeah. Killed it. You heard about him. Do you think we can get him? I don't know. Put a phone call in. Does he take phone calls? Will he even answer the phone? Will he answer email? Can we get a hold of his assistant? Does anybody know his wife? It's an absolute go around to find that person, that's going to kill it. And that's what will turn you in. It'll turn your career into something. It'll make you wake up every day and kind of giggle to yourself, I wonder, if the phone's going to ring today. I wonder if somebody's, and that's how it rolls. It's just, you constantly take stock in your resume and you build it.
I think that's what I need to be doing right now, especially since what was it? My time here in Cali is about to be close to being up. I gotta start learning a few more things. And like, what was it? I'm surrounded by people right now where they're telling me what things are failing, what people are looking for, and stuff. Because what was it? My goal is to be a technical director of some video, of possibly my own video like not even video, like my own studio, and continuing that up and starting that up. But it's still the matter of fact that like I gotta, you know, slowly but surely move my way up, learning more as I can and stuff. I think that's the biggest thing that I need to tell myself is the fact that I do have time.
Yeah,
Not
you're young.
yeah, not on the fact that like and like it's always like and you can always there's always a double-edged sword to it where it's like, yeah, you have time, but don't be lazy. And I think what was it? I think like, you know what? I think that's what got me today. I think it was the fact that like I felt like I was being lazy and like my body just naturally
you created a situation.
yeah, me staying home and like working on a few things and stuff like that. I think it was just one of those things where it's just like, damn, like I gotta get going. I gotta do this shit. I gotta knock this out. Blah blah blah. Uh, ah.
Yeah.
And then it's
I
just
mean, in the honesty of it, I say like there's this push, and at the same time, there's a part of me that, hits me sometimes. Just like you were saying, your mood today.
mm-hmm.
Like I was in that kind of mood yesterday.
Right.
Where I was just like, what, just kind of questioning.
Yeah. Oh, the what if rabbit.
Oh. Yeah, you get this thing in your head of, I miss, honestly, I miss my family and my kids and the camaraderie and stuff of my friends.
Right.
And, some days it does take over. That's when you need to, get home, get a good meal, just settle your mind, just relax, maybe some meditation, do a workout.
Yeah. I tell you what, this whole eating right and like going like work out, I'm gonna do it later on tonight. But it's just that whole factor of just like, what was it? Even when you're pissed off, like run it off, or if you gotta like like what was it? I've heard of people. What was it? In my college, we were doing this whole like mental health thing, and this guy was like, "There's moments to where like I record myself, like I make sure I go to a part of my area where like people don't really hear me lose my shit, so I'm not like gaining any attention, but I record on my phone and I just like spout out
everybody.
Oh yeah, and I'm here and like the guy's like he's like here's one of my recordings. This is like a 10-minute recording, and like the dude was just like I can't even fucking believe her today and stuff like that. You want to come over to my area and try to bring your papers into my area? Like he was talking about forms or something like that. And then there was a moment where he just goes like that. You see that breaking point in humans where they stop talking and they're just like, and it just ah! And then like you hear him just like calm down for a second, and then you hear him stop the recording, and then it's just like after you get done doing the recording, listen to it back and just hear yourself. Like that whole factor of like, what was it when people like look at you weird and they say, "Do you even hear yourself right now?" and stuff. Literally do that. And I was just like, that's wild. I don't do. Thankfully, I don't like. I'm never lost at that moment, but it's always been like, what was it? Yeah, no, it's just always been like one of those days, just having that mood. And I was just like, okay, need to get up, I need to get out. I need to move around. I need to do something. Because if I just sit here and wallow and stuff like that, then that's when it just gets just nasty. And it's just disgusting. We talked about it before on like how, what was it? The first part of me getting here when I was staying at the Airbnb, and there was like a full, like, what was it, 2, maybe 3 weeks where I was getting paid, but like, they were still waiting for me to like kind of come into the site. And so I'm just sitting there, just like at my Airbnb, not much to do. And I'm just sitting there by myself, eating pizza, drinking beer, just sitting, watching YouTube, Netflix. Like I would binge watch something, and then I would think, I'm like, I'm a piece of shit. Damn. And it
Yeah,
just,
you can, you sit still long enough.
oh, you'll put yourself in a dark place.
Oh, yeah. If you don't, if you're not sharpening the sword, then it's the worst.
Hell yeah.
That's why,
it's the factor. Just,
I've tried to just, pour, like when I get out here and stuff, I really try to pour myself into work, and like I'll actually do what I call a post-mortem of the last project. And I'll look at it, I'll go through it, I'll look at the times where, it's a real, it's hard to do because you're really trying to reflect. You're looking inside and you're looking at, where did I fail? Even if the project, for me, even if the project and stuff completed on time, everybody made money and it was a success, I still go back and I look at that and I write. I just obsessively write, like, and it's notes to myself. It's contractors and people and stuff that I came in contact with, how the project went. How could I have done that better? How could I have communicated better? How could I have taken notes better? Do I need to change my spreadsheet around to where, it, effectively communicates this or that? It's, you just get in, like, kind of get into it, and
yeah,
it creates some depression and some anxiety, and
right,
and then when you're into the next project and stuff, you're like, oh shit, this is where this happened, this is where that happened,
right.
It could be like you being in school, like, I didn't do a very good job. Do I need to start studying, instead of that last week for the final? Do I need to start warming up 2 weeks ahead? Do I need 3 weeks? Do I need to meet with people?
And there's that, and there's that big part that people, you always hear constantly say, just like, it's not about how you succeed, it's what you do after you fail. And it's just like, it's all good to, understand defeat, feel that anxiety of just like, damn, fucked up. All right, damn. But now it's on to the fact of just like, okay, well then what can we do that's better? Like, do I need to hit this area more? Do I need to work on this program? What process did I miss out here? Who should I communicate? Like, what are the red flags that I should have noticed beforehand so I can say it now in the next meeting? Like, hey, I remember last time we got this project or something similar and we didn't hit this up beforehand. Should this be hit up now? And like, it's the whole factor of like, you shouldn't really doubt your questioning. If you don't understand it, question it. Lo and behold, guess what? That person didn't understand earlier. And they were just like, oh no, that is messed up. And you're just like, okay, cool. All right then. I'm not like, it's the whole factor that it's just like, I would rather be the dumbest person in the room that asks the amount of questions than the smartest person that doesn't ask any questions. Because I'm telling you what, that dumb person's not going to make a mistake. They ask the question. They ask the question. They learn the process and what's going on. Yeah, it might be annoying, but hopefully they learn. They learn the process.
That's a great law. You know, what do you think a lawyer does when he goes into a criminal case and he's getting ready to plead you out? You know, what do you want? The worst thing that's going to happen to you, or the best possibility? You know you're guilty. You already know that. So you're just going for the best result. What you want is the guy that's going to look at all those results. What's happened for the last year? How many people did they convict? What did they get? What was their sentence? Can I get the minimum that the rich guy got? Or do I go the lowly do I get the maximum best deal that the rich guy got? Or do I get the minimum of the the poor guy that couldn't afford any type of representation whatsoever,
right?
And he gets the minimum.
It's so weird how
you want to go to you always want to go for the upper 3/4,
right? Well,
and you want somebody that's versed in failure.
God, yeah.
The best times, it's the absolute truest thing that every self-motivational, every motivational, from Tony Robbins to The Rock to Joe Rogan to anybody else, will tell you is the best way that you'll ever learn is off of just dead failure.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, I blew it.
Yeah.
Well, the best thing that you can do is to go back and just really dive deep into that failure and see where you fell off.
Yeah.
Was it, did you go party? The Thursday before the Friday you were supposed to make the,
right,
speech or the delivery?
Correct.
Was it, it's always in preparation usually. That's why I always say, man, like, I know it. You prepare for success. If you think you're going to arrive, you are ass out. You're so ass out. It's so funny. I hear people on conference calls to get crucified.
Oh, I was going to say there's some.
Yeah.
I was going to say from meetings that there's some. What was it? There's meetings that we're having right now where like you see a lot of people that are supposed to be planning stuff. They're not planning things right, and holy shit. It is just one person out of 40 people just talking, and they're only aimed at one other person. And it's just like, and of course, it's the whole fact of just like keeping it together, but that they're just like.
I'll put the phone on mute. I'm like, holy fuck.
Oh yeah, there was a guy.
Like it sounds like they're gonna lose their job after the phone call.
Hell yeah. What was it? There was a guy. There was a guy in one of our meetings where it's just like he said in a phone call, it's just like I don't even know why we're talking about this example. If this example happened, I would you should go out and shoot the guy who does that. Because he's obviously not doing the thing that we need to do. It was like,
wow.
And there were hypothetical situations, but it was still the matter of fact that it's just like, woo. And of course, and what was awesome about it at the end of it, everyone it's just he's like, sorry, I just came into it pretty intense, and everyone was just like, no, this is, woo. We're all hyped up about it right now. He was bringing that energy in.
Well, because you hear it, and it sets a dead example on my phone calls where you hear somebody and, they were supposed to take care of something.
Mm.
And they're like, you'll hear, the professional thing is, they'll be like, oh, well, and the manager will stop them.
Yeah.
Because it's revealing their position of shit. And he was like, and then when you hear the words, we're going to revisit this after the phone call, and sorry guys, we'll get back to you. And on my group, my group's like, okay, that'll be fine.
Yeah.
You know, like, we don't say, like, ha, like, this motherfucker just got smoked on the phone call.
Like, the language of a meeting has a total different working way of it. Just like, oh, we're going to talk about this. Oh, we'll talk about this at a later time. Is the matter of fact, like, hold up, I want to go butcher this person real quick. And then, we'll call it back up. Hopefully we'll get our shit together. Or the whole fact that, like, if you want to say, like, fuck you to someone in a meeting, it's just like, actually, this is how it should be going or something. Like, you interrupt them.
Yeah.
Oh, you just, like,
yeah.
And, like, I remember, like, what was it? My friend and I, we're sitting next to each other, and we're just, like, looking, like, we're acting like we're seeing, like, a boxing match happen. Stuff like that. It's just like, well, I'm just wondering, I'm just trying to understand why none of this is getting done. We're just like, oh, and just, like, go back and forth. Well, it's all matter of fact, that we need, just like, you guys need to do your part. Oh!
Oh, yeah.
It's hilarious. It's just like, it's a middle school, like, disc competition with meeting, but, like, in a meeting and stuff like that. It's just like, well, you should have done, like, your team should have done this. We should have been notified. Yeah.
Just for my conference calls, like, I've learned that my conference calls, I actually prepare the night before, and the conference call usually until 1:30 in the afternoon the next day. And that morning, I put all the crews into motion. I let them all know that from 1 o'clock on to 2:30 that I will be completely unavailable. Do not call. Do not answer. Do not ask me any questions. And I will be back then. Like, and it is hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
They know by my face. I give people a look that is just dead, where it's like, this is what's going down, and do not disturb.
I'm going to step on, like, over to the other side. Yeah.
If he's on fire, put him out.
Right. It's the whole thing about just not mixing those two fields. And what's interesting is, like, you're in a position now to where you're working with the guys on site and you're talking to management. So it's that whole digression of the fact that, like, you really do have to, like, really separate those things and make sure that, I'm going to tell you what you need to know. I'll keep everything. And, like, what was it? It's the whole leadership position. You think for the group, and, like, you're thinking about, like, okay, like, what was it? It's the very interesting fact that you're the manager, and the fact that, what was it? You got to tell management, like, hey, this is exactly what's going on here, and, like, say something, I don't know, like, one of the crew doesn't get there, or they're going to say, like, hey, we're behind. You got to tell the upper guys, like, hey, we're behind. Not the whole, like, oh, yeah, like, we're just, we had a little hiccup, but we're working things out. I'm just like, I don't, like, yeah, you had a little hiccup, but how's the job going? I don't give a shit about if you have a hiccup. Tell me what's going on. Like,
yeah, tell me technically, because in general, answers aren't going with the flow.
Oh, what was it? It's the whole.
They're not just going to happen.
It's the whole.
Not just going to go away.
Mm-hmm. It's the whole factor too with us that, like, what was it? You have developers and business people. The business people, they run on a whole language concept of, like, oh, we're gonna get it, like, we'll get it to you soon. Like, no. This is a position of money and numbers. Like, we are coding for this amount of days. We got this amount of budget, and you want these type of things done and stuff like that. Soon is probably the most abstract time reference ever. Yeah, we'll get it to you soon. Like, no. That's like, is it tomorrow? Is it end of day? Are we talking about 2 days from now? Are we talking next week, Monday? And stuff like that. We need things concrete. And what was it? I've learned it the hard. I learned it the hard way on the first two projects that I was doing. On the fact that and I got slightly roasted in my own meetings. On just my ass got singed on a few meetings and stuff. It's just we'll be working on the deployment very soon. It's just well, how soon? And then I'll turn into the and then I got and then I went to go take my butchering, and I learned from the fact that it's just well, why weren't we told this beforehand and stuff? And luckily, what was it? There was one thing where what was it? A higher up didn't they weren't giving me this information or something like that, and I was really about to get butchered on something, and then I just went, I was just no, I do not know this. I don't know this part, this whole process, and they're just wait a minute, no, this needs to be done on someone else's end. And then it was the whole luckily this was someone else's job, and that person, and they were trying to bring that job over to me and stuff, and they were just okay, and basically I got a talking to where it's just you need if you do not know something, or if you're not unaware of something, tell me this. It's not on the fact of just what was it? It's not on the fact that, oh, you're an idiot and you don't know this, okay, we're not going to give you the job. No. Tell me something that you do not know, and then I'll give you the resources, or it's the matter of fact that maybe you actually aren't supposed to do that job. And then I'll put it into turns out if you really think about it, everyone's on everyone's side. Everyone wants to get paid, everyone wants to get the project done. So if you think for the group, and tell them hey, I'm sorry, but I'm worried about this thing. I think we're gonna have to add another week to this, or maybe this process doesn't look right. Hero. Exactly. And then you tell it straight up how it is, and then turns out you were speaking the mind of 5 other people, and then you're getting talked to afterwards saying dude, thank you for putting that out, because I was thinking, I'm just oh, this probably wasn't going well too. We have other people who speak out like that too. And it's just that constant reassurance that it's just hey, you don't have to be fucking Einstein, or you don't have to act like it. Tell people what's up.
You can't be the hero. You can't be the saving grace.
No.
You can't be the yes guy.
Oh.
I'm thinking this whole time we're talking too about this, it would be a total service to everybody to put out a list, or a manifest of words to use and to not use, during phone conference calls. They're
just
soon, maybe, kinda.
Oh, jeez. Soon would be on the top part of it.
Right. You don't say these, and then
sorta.
Then there's strike words.
Actually.
These are action verbs.
Yeah. These are use. Yeah, these will be your words. Yeah. Actually, insert person's name here that you're going to put on fire.
This is your thesaurus for conference calls.
Yeah.
And it would be it should be a total go-to for new people, and they should be required in college to memorize this list.
Yeah.
And there should be phone calls, we actually do conference calls, and that's your grade rolls off of this,
right?
And they give you you get the information, which of course has holes in it.
Ooh.
And I'm
a mock, not like a mock trial, but a mock conference call, and
oh yeah,
she's well, actually,
you get a real shitty script to read from.
Holy shit! And once you realize, the boss says, okay, yeah. So the budget right now is going to be 200,000 or something like that, and you see on the reference notes or on the previous email, actually it was 180, and she's sir, I saw on the you got to pick that up, sir, actually I saw that it was 180 and stuff like that, and then maybe it's just those things you have to point out. You really do. because then
you have to be able to convey that in a professional manner.
Yeah, like that would be the point, not to like
that.
Actually, John, my boss, you got that wrong. It's actually 180,000. What up?
Boom.
Huh? What the fuck's going on, boss?
And then you go boom afterwards. You don't do that.
That's a big no-no. You cannot yell boom.
You can't yell Homer either.
You can't. No. Especially if you're on a video conference, you can't do the dual forearms cross. Yeah. You can't do the palm out opening and gesture to your groin and hump the air type of motion and scream, you can't do that.
There's no hitting the table. You don't point. You know, and that's the thing is, man, is like, you can't be like in this word discovery during the conference call.
I love the people. I love the people in the conference call that like
did they just make that word up?
Oh yeah, like, or what was it? I love the people who like are getting butchered, like getting butchered on display, and they're just like, I know.
You're like, he says no again, he's gonna bleed out. Yeah, you have to.
What was that?
Who knows?
Here's somebody whistling.
Yeah. Obviously unprepared. No, I'm kidding.
Oh boy. All right. Well then, I want to talk so I want to talk about this AIRWOLF. Because I told people on our Facebook page we're gonna be talking about this. I watched the first episode of it. I found a free version. Holy shit! Where was it? Holy shit!
Yeah, the helicopter was. As a kid, helicopter could beat everything. Jets, people.
I did not know the first episode was going to go like that. I thought they were introducing the main characters. Turns out, nope. They fucking killed the senator and shoot down the tower in the first fucking episode. And I love old boy's eye patch glasses. Holy shit. I love how like the 80s, they're hitting every cliche. Just like, well, Senator, if you continue our funding, and just like, oh my gosh, this is perfect, like cliche government talk. It's always a senator. There's always funding. There's always a big project. Well, we're gonna have to talk about this in Washington.
Yeah, and they totally go underground.
Hell yeah. What was it?
Like, man, the senator, he has no idea what the fuck is going on. I wish AIRWOLF, like, that was a show that could have went movie. I don't even know how many seasons it played, but
I think it had 3 or 4.
Yeah, it was just killer, man.
And was was each episode like an hour long?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Oh yeah. And then at the end of the season, of course, it was 2 hours.
So, did they actually end it off?
What's that?
Did they actually end it, or did it kind of like get canceled? Okay, so it had 4 seasons.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it didn't there wasn't an end. It was like a regular 80s TV show.
Right. Holy shit.
It was just, there was no ride. Like, the helicopter didn't just go off into the sunset.
Holy shit. The main character, that pilot, the way they introduced him, holy shit. You hear the fucking cello start playing, and then a bald eagle is going through the mountains. I'm just like, holy shit. shit, I want to stand up and like pledge allegiance right now. And then fucking like, what was it? And then it cuts to a guy playing the damn cello. And I'm just like, this is not him. He's wearing mountain gear. He's out onto a pier. His dog is sitting right next to him, just being a good dog. The eagle comes down, gets a fish. Just like, fuck, dude, what is this guy?
Are you fucking, like, in the 80s, dude, it was like, if you're not American, fuck you.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh my goodness. And talking about, what was it, the 80s kind of being a little bit beyond its time. This, what was it, like during the first episode, I think the girl that girl and the eye patch glasses guy, they show up to meet the dude in his cabin. They spend the night. Oh boy, like, what was it? He like stands over the girl, and the girl's just, the girl's like, "What are you doing?" And it's just like, what was it? Like, he's like, you know what, like, you're here for? You're here to be pretty, to soften the deal. And I was like, damn. And then like, what was it? He goes into, he's just like, what was it? Like, you know, like, well, she says something where it's just like, you know, you're the best pilot. And it's just like, you know, you're right, but you know, you're a whore too. I was just like, damn.
Yeah. Total call out, and like, it's like, he hit it anyway. You know?
No, I don't think he did. Like, he made her cry, and then she left. Like, she left to go sleep on the couch, and he was just like, "Fuck that, whatever." And I was just like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah,
This guy doesn't give a
like,
fuck.
Like women go sleep on the couch.
Yeah, and then what was it? The guy, the eye patch glasses guy is just like, "Yeah, no." Fucking tell me the most tragic backstory. He's just like, he lost both of his parents in a drunken car crash. He lost his brother in Vietnam, always Vietnam, of course. And then he lost someone that he loved. Like, he lost his wife at a cruise ship that got eaten by jaws or something else tragic. And it's just like, you know, he's always cold to people that he likes because he's always afraid to love again because he lost all the people that he loved. I'm just like, I'm eating this up. I am eating this up, every bit of it. I'm just like, yes. Where is like the tragic 80s strong and silent weirdo 80s badass dudes? And it's just hilarious. And the music.
And the thing was, oh yeah, the theme song.
That's badass.
Like, yeah. And you got to think, it was a 2-minute intro.
Holy shit.
Every night for 4 years, it's a 2-minute intro to AIRWOLF.
Like, that's a show, like, if I ever met, like that confident of a show, I don't think you can ever make it again. Like, they were just like, hey, fuck you, this is AIRWOLF, this is our music. Yeah, it's about a helicopter, get the fuck out of here. Don't even try to explain to me the logic of how we added thrusters to a damn helicopter and made it go Mach 1. And by the way, that filming was hilarious. And by the way, there's
so many cutscenes.
But holy shit. Like, there's some parts of like when they're filming the helicopter, I'm thinking like, dude, this is like super risky and like really cool. You couldn't 3D model any of this shit. If any parts, it was just funny how they fired the missile because they looked like just a spark, which again, you know, that's just old TV. But it was also the fact that like how they made it, how they made the helicopter look like it was, they just fast forward the footage.
Yeah, they just fast forward the film.
Holy shit.
This thing's beating fucking jets.
I'll tell you what though, those are some badass helmets. The little visors that goes like,
and like you're saying, like it preempted like what is real tech now, to where when you do put on a helmet, like it has like target tracking.
Yeah. Like,
I loved it how, like, when they went to shoot something down, the circle was real wide, and then it got smaller.
Hell yeah.
Smaller.
It's always the cliche. oh, hold up, I got a lock on.
We got a lot.
Give me. And like they always like show the cut of like the aim sight moving around and the plane moving around. She's like, oh, I can't get a good read, and then it lines up perfectly. And she's like, oh, I got it.
Oh, what sucked was that's when the commercial hit. Like he's getting chased, shit's going bad. Commercial.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
I got 3 minutes to see
Like-
what the hell happens.
Like I don't know what it was.
I'm watching a butter commercial.
Like I really don't know what it is about that, and like you can only call it charm, because to say that it like, and granted, like like I wouldn't even say like anything bad about it. It was just something that it was just back in the day, and it just had that charm that just like you don't see much anymore. And
Oh
like,
yeah, I loved it. They're playing the intro. They're showing the blueprints to the helicopter. Like, you know, if I slowed it down, I could build it myself.
yeah, like holy shit. I mean,
They're totally giving us the blueprints
Dude.
to Airwolf.
dude, I really, honestly, I want to buy the box set and just binge watch this show. Just how fucking crazy it is.
It's so funny.
I'm
Just because,
I'm completely sold on this show.
oh man, like when it came out, like shit. I bet you there's toys out there and other shit like
Yo.
action figures.
The evil villain, the guy who stole the Airwolf on the first episode, when he's wearing the like,
Yeah.
what was it? Not the hijab, but I don't know what it was called. But he's like in some like Saudi Arabia area, wearing this black like hijab. He's like sitting at this like beside this pool and stuff, and like it was like, what was it like during?
Yeah, how do you start a
Fuck.
where somebody stole the plans to the helicopter?
And you have
It's
to go
supposed to
get
be
it back.
badass. And then the real one goes out and blows up the fake one.
Holy shit, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Like, that's how you start it? Like,
Yeah,
that
I was
should have been like mid-season.
I was completely sold. I was immediately like on the fact that, what was it? Old boy like shows up on the tower. The senator just like, good job, good job. Can't wait to see you in Washington and shake your hand, and so we can smack women, smoke cigars, and have some whiskey and some shit like that. And it's just like, well, you had shaken my hand before on this previous journey. You're him? No. And he blows up the tower. And then they take it. They just take it like within the first 10 minutes of this. And I'm just like, oh, what? And then we're just like, and then like, what was it? It was like 5 months later. Oh, we're in. We're fucking in. Okay. I'm down.
And then I loved it because there was this secret base.
I
There
don't
was,
know
like,
if they
a
had the
whole
secret.
thing.
I don't know if they showed the secret base on the first episode.
No. But there was a secret place where they kept it.
Oh shit.
So, of course, like, there's like a whole fucking command center. And it's like, he's getting like his rogue orders of, this shit's starting to happen. So and so has escaped.
Mm-hmm.
There's a terrorist. There's somebody doing this. There was always a helicopter or something else, like some of the helicopters too. Like where there's bubble kind back in the day, like from Magnum PI, and they probably welded a shit ton of stuff on them.
Whoa, what was
like
it?
Rocket launchers.
They were showing the weapons off that helicopter, and I was just like, bet money they built 3 different helicopters just to like show off in those, because like I'm just looking at this one like the original Airwolf, and I'm just like, this thing just looks like a normal copter. Oh fuck.
Yeah, like I need an Airwolf t-shirt.
Hell yeah. Fuck that. I want the jacket. I want the whole uniform. I need a bomber jacket that says like certified Airwolf pilot or some shit.
And an eye patch.
I thought that was the coolest thing. I've never seen the concept of eye patch
Like,
glasses and someone pulling it off.
oh, and then I used to love it. Like Ron and stuff, we'd watch it together. You know, me and Dad, we'd
Awesome.
totally watch it together. And he would talk about like the physics of the helicopter and how
That thing would explode.
Well, yeah. He's like, man, they'd be dead. I'm like, what are you talking about, man?
This is real.
This is real shit, dude.
See,
And,
look at that. They're doing it. They turned on the thrusters. Look how fast they're going. That's real speed.
for a helicopter to do a somersault, like
that quick.
Like that didn't happen. Like it happens now. You can do it now.
Right.
With the tech now. Not that a helicopter pilot would try it.
No.
But if you get a Huey upside down, that fucker would fall from the sky.
Yeah.
you would get up so high and the thing would probably stall out, or it'd be like, what's going on? It's like it would never catch air enough again.
Yeah. What was it? The sweet gravity will finally take over and be like, oh, okay, now I can do my job. Let me just bring this right back down.
And what you loved about AIRWOLF 2 is like they could shoot the hell out of that thing. And it'd be like,
oh yeah, just the good,
like,
just whatever. The classic sparks shooting off and stuff like that.
All the quips.
What was it? And like the dude, he was explaining it. It's just like, what was it? The evil guy, he was explaining it too on like how badass AIRWOLF was. Just like, whoa, is there any weakness to it? Like, there's bulletproof glass, steel all around it. And so I'm like, and I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, dude, how fucking powerful is this engine to pick up this damn thing? Like, what was it? The Vietnam choppers, the Hueys, like, they were like they were just throwing shit off the side and like telling guys like, we can't take any more humans because so much weight and shit.
Oh yeah, and some of those would get holes through.
They would have a metal plate underneath their ass because their balls would get shot off.
Yeah, and they would get the casings and stuff. They would get shot through, and that was the beauty about that helicopter. Like it could take a hit, and they would still be able to, get it back to base.
There was a badass story of this.
Smoking like crazy.
I don't know what movie. I think it was called We Are Soldiers, the Mel Gibson movies. They paid tribute to one of the pilots there, where basically, like, this dude was, I think, like, he got shot, like, I think 3 times in the leg while, like, piloting these choppers. And he, like, one chopper got, like, 2 of the choppers got filled with so many bullet holes. He had to use up to 3 choppers to cycle. And he was able to get, like, a bunch of troops out of, like, this hot zone and stuff. And, like, wow, the dude was, like, had, like, 3 bullets in his legs and stuff. And I was thinking, like, I'm like, for him to pick up all those guys, and no matter what, like, what was it? I wouldn't imagine, like, the last run of one of those choppers. Like, he just had to, like, change choppers because the bullet holes were so big that dudes are about to fall out underneath the helicopter. It's like, put the body on. We can't. It's falling through.
Like, told you, like, I come into enough money, man, I would buy one of those and fly it. They still fly those out to oil rigs to drop guys off.
Doesn't the National Guard, like, use a version of that? Like,
oh, I'm sure.
Not like the old one in Vietnam, but at least they stuck with that premise. At least that specific, I think, build. I don't know. I think so.
Yeah, totally hardcore, man.
Yeah, dude.
It's one of the best helicopters, like, ever. Yeah. I love helicopters. The only problem I have with them is the rotors stop. It's over.
Yeah, like they're
and a wreck.
Oh,
there's so many pieces.
Yeah, there's no ejector seat. There's nothing. What are you gonna do? Get tossed out the side? No.
There ought to be something now, tech-wise, that if you're going down in a chopper, like, it fills with foam or a case comes over you or something.
I would think,
You know?
yeah. Like, if anything, yeah, it like fills with foam to cushion blows or something like that. Because
Yeah,
just like why isn't there? And and again, like if anything, you would at least try to put some kind of airbag or something. And again, I understand, like you're probably what 3 feet from death. You're what was it? You're right next to like a spinning blade that turns into a freaking grenade like as soon as it like hits any type of ground and stuff like that. And like what was it? It's not so much that like helicopters are pretty fragile too. They're made to like just fully break apart.
Yeah, like I've had friends, man, that are loggers where they still use those old Hueys to lift these huge logs and stuff, like Montana and forest guys, lumberjacks,
Mm-hmm.
and where they chain it up. They'll chain up this huge log, and this thing lifts it out. And they talked about how they've lost hydraulic pressure, and that thing has a hand pump on it, and you can pump the shit out of it, while you're flying it. Keep pumping it while you're still getting high. You can still maintain hydraulic pressure to get that thing back onto the ground. They've even talked about how that thing could skid across the ground, like make super hard landings and not come apart. Like it was a hardcore ass chopper.
Damn.
Like AIRWOLF. And AIRWOLF could do somersaults.
Yeah, and go Mach 1 and shoot radiated missiles.
And shoot jets down and, take on bullets and spin on people and, turn on them and fire.
I can't believe this was like. I wonder how many. If you just bring this up in conversation, I wonder how many people really know it. Just AIRWOLF, because I feel like I don't know. I feel like this is such a unique show. I've never heard even a show today that's just centered around a helicopter.
Yeah.
And for it to be that badass.
Yeah, the only other show that had a chopper in it was, Magnum PI.
Right.
And it was just your boy, out here in Hawaii.
The title of the show is the helicopter's name. Like, damn.
Yeah. AIRWOLF.
And it's like there's a like what was it? I'm looking at an image right now, and like what was it? They got that thing so low to the damn ground. And one of these shots, you can see the shadow off the ground. I was just like, I don't know if that's a prop or something, but the way they're filming that, it looks real as hell.
Their pilots were too. They probably got some Vietnam. If we've looked it up, I bet you get some Vietnam era pilots that were flying that thing.
Oh, I bet the early 1980s, it was a good year for helicopter pilots when they were filming all that shit.
Oh, yeah. There's a bunch of movies like Drones. You can get that pull away now.
Mm-hmm.
It was all done by helicopter and camera back.
Honestly, like, really, there's really no negative connotation of learning, like, to become a certified helicopter pilot. There really isn't. I'm trying to think of really a negative connotation. Like, no, you're just completely solid all the way through.
It's one of those, it's an aircraft, man, that, you don't fly it in funky ass weather. And it's something that, rarely, if you're not getting shot down, it's rarely something that, goes down.
Yeah. And it's it's the number one vehicle that just totally represents get the fuck out. Like, if you just gotta say fuck it and leave, you like turn it around the corner and then there's a helicopter starting up and you're just like, where are you going? I'll be right back. And you just dip.
And they book. I've been in love with them things, man, since James Bond. You only live twice.
I mean, hell, those things go, what, 300 miles an hour?
Well, they had like a Little Nelly, which is like a go-kart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, it was like a kit. And you can still get it. You can still get, like, I don't know, you can get Little Nelly, but you can still get that chopper and stuff and,
Right.
be a hobbyist and, get your helicopter on.
Mm-hmm. That's so cool.
The best. Well, think about, like, all those 80s shows, if you want to lead to that, like, it's like, the A-Team.
Yeah.
A-Team was just, I remember the A-Team, like, it just being so badass.
Mm-hmm. Well, like, and see, like, this goes back to our previous conversation. We were talking about, like, just iconic vehicles. Like, I would consider the 80s was just a time where, like, the vehicle was also a character. Hell, that's exactly the premise from Knight Rider. His car was literally a talking character.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking about putting the bar on the van. I've looked it up. It's like $50.
Yeah.
It looks into the light, and you can put a switch in the car.
Oh,
shit! You can flip it on and off, where it rolls back and forth.
Like, oh man, Knight Rider, you put on some weight.
But the car, 1984 Trans Am, A-Team van. The A-Team van was sick.
Oh yeah.
A lot of great movie cars. You don't see movie cars anymore where
No.
it's like people jump into the vehicle and we're kicking ass.
If anything, like, what was it? I think the last one, and you know what? If anything, like the last one was Fury Road, and that was him. Like, that showed his iconic car getting completely destroyed. And yes, granted, that happened a lot in the movies, in the previous movies with Mel Gibson, but it was still the matter of fact that, like, that was like the big one where it's like, shit, no more cars. And I think if anything, you can put a deeper meaning on it. Like, that was maybe like the last bit of like movies trying to put something on vehicles.
Yeah, I never understood why they didn't, like Mad Max could have totally been, I love how Tom Hardy, played Mad Max. To pass that torch from Mel Gibson to him,
That was badass.
Was great.
Yeah.
It was one of the most, like, ionic, like, passes for me was in growing up, because, like, his vehicle was like a Ford Classic, and they only made that for Australia, by the way. Like, that car, I think, was only shipped to them.
Mm.
It was never here. Well, if you get one here, like, I thought it was a Dodge Demon for years, and it ended up being a Ford.
What was it? Like, isn't Mad Max based in Australia? Like the apocalyptic Australia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where the beginning,
it was about water.
The guy, yeah.
No.
Well, in the
it was gas.
It was gas.
Yeah.
And everybody starts kind of losing their shit, and there was motorcycle gangs. This is when, like, Mel Gibson was like 19. Then the next one came along, which was Mad Max.
Oh, okay.
And then there was Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Right.
And he didn't have his car. He had something weird, like, that was trailed by, like, horses and shit. And then you had Tom Hardy, and then the car came back.
Yeah.
So because it was destroyed, it was blown up in Mad Max. They blew the car up.
Okay.
Because he had a fuse system attached to it, to where if anybody fucked with the gas, which he had these huge gas tanks in the back, and I loved it. He had the fake blower motor, where he could flip a switch and turn the blower on for the engine to start taking on more air. Then he'd turn the nitrous on and just split. And it was like so wild because that's not how it worked.
So okay, yeah, it was the Mad Max Interceptor, XB Ford Falcon, 1974 coupe. That's wild. Like, and you know what? I'll be honest. I'm very happy that what was it? I think if they would have continued on with the series, I don't know how. Hmm, I don't see where they could continue, or at least I don't know. I don't know. I think it's one of those hard factors where, like, I think it could have been like a Lord of the Rings trilogy, where I think you could have had something really iconic and build up on some bigger, grander thing. But there really wasn't no like overall evil. It was just Mad Max hitting different areas and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm just happy the way it is, and it's just gorgeous. And it just gets better every single fucking time because you just keep noticing things.
Yeah, it was a great series, and for them, like bringing it in, Charlize Theron, super fucking smoking. You know, for her to be in it,
rocking that one arm.
She was something.
Yeah. And you know what was cool? Like, it was Mad Max Fury Road, but like it wasn't all about Mad Max. You can tell that like they were just doing the whole factor like, yes, Mad Max is here, but there's portions of the film where first of all, Mad Max is not saying much. He's already kind of established like, okay, we have our lone badass here. We know he's badass. I mean, hell, the perfect part was the fact that when he goes out into the night and then completely destroys those whole group of guys, and it's just like I love that they didn't show it because again, it just shows that establishment like no, like we know Mad Max is badass. So we're going to take a back seat and show you the rest of the environment that everything else is around and stuff like that and have fun with that, which of course they absolutely did amazingly with fucking the guitar flamethrower guy, the huge monster trucks, the guys on poles and shit, the whole lore behind them using Valhalla and spraying them shits like spraying their shit down and saying like witness me and like them sacrificing themselves. Holy shit. It was awesome. It was completely awesome.
Oh yeah. It was and then to bring those vehicles and everything,
Yeah.
It was such badass because when I was a kid and watched it, I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Vehicles crashing.
Yeah. And like it was real vehicles. Like that was the thing. Like you can if you see any of these big blockbusters that use practical real things and stuff like that, it will always come down as just a what was it? Just a fantastic movie because your eyes and like your mind instantly knows like no, that's real. That's something that's actually happening and it's amazing. What was it? That's what I loved about fucking 1917. That war movie is amazing.
Yeah, because it looks like it's really happening.
And I was about to say,
you're engrossed in it. It's like the car chases, and it's one thing that a lot of movies and stuff just don't have anymore. It's just that car chase of
right,
and or just movies like creating this absolute urgency,
right,
of getting away because it's part of us.
Have you seen Baby Driver?
No, I didn't see that.
I was about to say like
good?
It's
like Fast and the Furious brought some of that back.
Yeah, and like it's just something about the fact that like maybe it is because since we're pushing ahead in technology that our movies are doing the exact same thing. Like we're more inclined to show the supernatural, whether in any genre, whether it's called like we have the ability to either go back in time or farther in time. And but like back in the 80s and stuff, you know, it was still the matter of fact that the majority of films were more into the present, I feel like. And so they wanted to add as much as they can into the present, and which was the whole factor of like adding like making vehicles like iconic and making characters within them and stuff. But nowadays you have stuff like Avatar and fucking Stuff like Supernatural. You got animated you check on Netflix, and it's all about murder mysteries now and stuff. And there's just like, what was it? It's not. Yeah. It's just like there's no time or there's no space to add in a inanimate object as a character anymore. It's all about human interaction and people.
Like there's not a piece of machinery that is the absolute assist,
right,
to the getaway or the victory. Like if I step into this vehicle, like there's nothing out there that can beat it. It's just so hardcore.
Yeah.
So fast. So badass.
Well,
anybody that ever, tempts it,
mm-hmm.
You know that, their fate.
Well, like, what was it? The last
decided by the vehicle.
The last movie that made me feel like that was Transformers, and that literally had to be the vehicles were living characters. That whole factor of, what was it? When Bumblebee like drops off Sam and his what was it? Sam and his girl off on the side of the road and stuff like that. And then he like turns around into the tunnel, and then he scans this one car and comes back like as the brand new Camaro. And then that shot up Camaro prices. Everyone knows the Bumblebee Camaro. Everyone knows it.
Yeah, if you own one, everybody still remembers it.
Yeah. And it's just like, you never see that. You never
I'll never forget the GMC of J's that had to, was it Autobot?
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was so fucking kick-ass.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the most kick-ass trucks, and it wasn't because of the color or anything else. It's just the fact that, it looked like an Autobot. I was like, damn.
Yeah. And
like, that's killer.
Right. And like maybe like, I don't know. It's one of those factors like you're starting to see genres like those kind of lose their spice now. The whole car being an iconic part of the show. I would say even buddy cop dramas. Not buddy cop dramas, but buddy cop shows. Like the last one I saw was End of Watch. That was really good with Jake Gyllenhaal. Have you seen that?
No.
It's really good. It's badass, and I think you would really like it. It's shot like a documentary, and it's just about these two cops, going on their patrols in I think Valley or somewhere around L.A. And they get into shootings. They get involved with like crazier shit and stuff, and it's wild. It's really good. And like you have gangster movies. Literally, I just saw Irishman, and I genuinely felt sad at the end of the movie because like the character, he's getting left behind, and I felt like, holy shit, like I'm saying goodbye to these guys. I'm almost saying goodbye to this genre now, because there's just like I'm not seeing anyone else do it anymore, like how they did it. You've always had those iconic guys, the De Niro, the Pesci, the was it who else? The guys from Goodfellas, Al Pacino. Like you just have these gangster dudes who like created the genre and rode through this genre and just hit nothing but net every single time. From the Godfather series, people will debate, Godfather 2 and 3, but it was still a good series. You have all the way from, what was it? You got Godfathers, Goodfellas, Casino, Heat, the Irish. What was it? There's a few other ones I'm definitely missing, but it's just every time you see these like the gangster films, the cop dramas, those films, the other films, westerns, I would even say, are now.
Oh yeah.
If anything, Mandalorian is like that now. It's more of like a solid western and stuff, and I really liked it. I really, really liked that show, and it was really, really good. And it just goes to show that, what was it? That hopefully,
it was good.
Yeah. Well, it's a matter of fact that these genres aren't being forgotten, and we can just see them shed into different light. You know, show me a Goodfellas version of universe or something like that. You know, a futuristic universe or some shit like that. It'd be cool. And I know, like, you know, Hollywood got washed over with, you know.
Yeah, like a clown. Like, is it I make you laugh?
Oh shit! I watched that scene.
That was great because, you know, like Joe Pesci and stuff was just so hardcore.
Dude, that show, like that scene gave me anxiety. Like, fuck,
yeah,
dude.
like you're fucking, like you're tempting fate. You're tempting your own life, jacking around, making a joke.
Yeah, you thought this guy was your best friend and stuff like that. Turns out this dude's ready to. You don't know if this guy's actually serious on ready about to blast you right in the middle of this restaurant.
Yeah, like he's on. Like, are you on? Because he's on.
And you knew it as soon as he asked the question. Funny. Like, even while he was cracking up, he's like, funny how? And I'm just looking, I'm like, oh, shit.
Right. That's exactly what it makes you say. You're like, oh.
No, do I amuse you? Do I make you laugh? I'm just like, Joe, what the fuck?
Like a clown? Like I make you laugh? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you know, like a fucking clown? I make you laugh?
Right. And then you realize he's joking and that, and his friend. I love it that his friend doubles down on it. I love that scene. Like, you are a funny guy.
Hey. Yeah,
just tackles him.
He still like gets his gun out.
He does. He fucking does.
Yeah, he goes too. Like he's going with him. Like we're all going down.
Holy shit.
Yeah, watch those friends.
Like you need, like you don't. Oh, man, you would only want them on your side, either non-existent or on your side. That's it. Like shit. If I really have to get to know you, I got to keep you close because I don't want you on the other side against me.
Oh yeah, when I was younger, I had some people around me like that. It was like they were great because they were your friend.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was always this uneasy feeling of, man, this could, you know, it was shitty because it could always go bad.
It's always like when they're just screaming in the room and then you one guy in the room. I don't know.
Well, and the thing is most of the time, you know, they were quiet.
Yeah.
You know, they were just sitting there. They were waiting. It was almost like they were lying in wait. And then somebody lit the spark, and you're like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm. You just start grabbing people and just like, hey,
you know, I have this person next to me that's like really on edge most of the time, ready to just either whoop somebody or kill them.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, no, they didn't mean it.
Yeah. Like, you got to be the, hey,
no. Mm-hmm. You're like, no, this guy wants some heat.
No, he's messing with you.
Guy,
he's messing with you. You look at the other guy like, messing, right?
Right. Like, yeah, man, like this guy, like, you know, you have to talk him into it. Like, man, this guy's like, you know, this guy's weak, you know?
Yeah.
This guy has no idea what he just said.
Yeah, he's new
know,
here.
He's fucked up.
He doesn't understand. Like, he messed up. Didn't you mess up? And he's like, yeah, I messed up. And he's just like, and then you have to explain the guy, like, dude, I told you, man, don't come in here wearing blue shoes. Like,
yeah, don't talk about anybody's mom. Don't talk about a girlfriend. Don't talk about this. Yeah. There's always something that's just totally out of bounds that anybody else would have, you know, laughed it off, walked on.
Directing people through a minefield. Yeah.
And that's, you know, when you're out with people like that, you're just like, holy fuck. And you're right. Like, you're like super secure and happy that, you know, if anything happened to you, you know. Oh. You know, all hell would break loose. Yeah. And you're like, yeah. You know, and you're like advantage Caleb. You know, advantage Sean. But at the same time, it's keeping somebody at bay. Yeah. Like that whole time. You know, it's a constant anxiety of, just checking in. Or if you get away from them,
and they just pop in.
You hear a commotion or something. You're just like, I already know who it is.
Yeah.
Do I go and save the person, or do I get the fuck out of the way?
Exactly.
And then try to usher them out of the situation. Like, hey, man, cops are on their way. We need to get the fuck out of here. You know, you need to settle it down. And they won't even know. Some people I've been out with, they were so fucking powerful as a person that they could grab a hold of people and break shit. Like, shake people. And bust them.
Damn.
And I'm like, yeah, we need to get you out of here. Like, cops are on their way, man. Yeah.
You just use this guy to break a window. Like, we gotta go.
Yeah, or sometimes you just tell them the cops are on the way just to snap them out of whatever the hell they were, like, flipped out on.
Right. It's always that. And like, sometimes you have to grab them and probably catch an elbow real quick and just like, hey.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Oh, yeah. I remember one time I wrecked a friend's car. We were coming from a strip club, and he was drunk as hell. Big old dude, Perry, and stuff. And I'm like, I got this, it's cool. And I'm driving this big ass Delta 88, and I pull into the neighborhood, and I come around the corner and everything. Well, I end up hitting the dumpster that wasn't all the way in, and like, I'm going straight for it. I'm lit, shouldn't be driving, and I whip it, and I miss the whole, front end of the car. Well, where the trash truck picks the truck up, or picks the dumpster up, those bars that are sitting on the outside, it hit the windshield and rolled completely across the hood and carved out a half moon and peeled it up.
Oh.
Like, it opened it up like a sunroof, dude. And I'm lit. I don't even know it. Almost hit a security guard, whipped into the parking space. Security guard has a gun drawn on me, and he's private security. I looked at him, was like, what's up? Like, I'm walking towards the gun that's drawn on me. I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, man, you fucking almost killed me. I was like, man, it's fucking cool. I was like, everything's gonna be okay.
What are you on about, man?
And I was like, you smoke weed? He was like, fuck yeah, smoke weed. He was still scared as fuck because I almost hit him.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's just chill out. I'll go, come on up to the apartment. Let's drink a beer. He was like, okay.
Trying to help you, motherfucker.
Still had his gun drawn and everything. Put his gun down. Settled him down. Harry's freaking the fuck out about the car because it's mom's. And we walk upstairs into the apartment, and I was like, you just sit down here. And my girlfriend at the time, she comes in, she's like, what the fuck's going on? Because she was hanging out waiting for me after we get back. Like, look, I almost smoked the security guard here. I was like, roll this guy a joint. I was like, I'll be right back. So I went in the back room with Perry, and I'm like, hey, man, everything's going to be okay. Man, this guy was so fucking hot. He picked me up off the ground, dude, and had me about 2 foot off the ground and pulled me in front of me. It was like, man, that's my motherfucking mama's car. I can't believe you did this and everything. I was like, it's going to be okay, man. Like, I broke the stud that was going down on the right side of the passenger side. It was busted too, plus the windshield, plus peeled the fucking roof back and everything. And I'm like, I'm up in the air and I'm like talking to him.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm like, I was like, it's going to be all right. Everything's going to be okay. I was like, I'm going to take it to a body shop. It'll be fine. And he was like, it better be fucking fine. And all this other shit. I was like, it's going to be fine. I was like, let's get back in here and take care of this guy. And he set me down. And we rolled back in to the dining room table. Old boy had his pistol out on the fucking table the entire time. And we let him have like his own joint.
Hell yeah.
We just left him alone, rolled our own, and just sat there and like smoked out. I was like, man, I'm really sorry. It's cool. Like, I think I gave him like $50 or something. Yeah, weed, and like it was all good. Then I took Harry's car down to a body shop, and it ended up working out really well because I was going down there to Reynolds Body Shop off of East Washington or off of West Washington, and I knew him, and he was like, "Man, you really fucking suck." We're standing there looking at it because we've bent the fucking roof back down and everything, and the windshield was still busted all out. And I was like, "Yeah," I was like, "Look," I was like, "I'm gonna go bring another windshield over." I was like, "Can you do something?" He was like, "Yeah." And he saw that I had a paint sprayer in the back of my truck at the time, and he was like, he was like, he was looking at the sprayer, and he was looking at me, and he was like, "Yeah," he goes, "You paint, exteriors?" I was like, "Hell yeah!" And he was like, "You paint the body shop?" He goes, "I'll take care of this." I was like, "Right on."
Hell yeah.
I painted that whole body shop in one day and
You put the good paint on, polished it all.
Taped it off, put big ass stripes on it like you wanted after I painted the base of it. And they repainted, they put the car back together in 2 days, like rebuilt like the entire like top, welded it back, buffed it out. The interior, everything looked legit. Like, the car came out looking better than what it was because they buffed the entire car. And
yeah, that's not gonna make the mom suspicious.
Yeah, man. It just looked like the car had been detailed when he brought it back to her, and he had left for 4 days. He was like, and he told me, like, it was a very serious conversation where he told me, like, this car better be looking exactly how it was when I come back in 4 days. And I swear to God, dude, I drove the car back and gave him the keys. The inside was detailed. The outside was detailed. He was like, right on. Like, I don't think he could believe, like, how the car came back.
He just kind of looked at you and just like,
dude,
is this a movie right now?
Yeah, because that car was fucked up.
Right on. Right.
I couldn't believe it.
Oh.
So, yeah. Don't drive drunk, boys and girls.
I think that's actually where we need to cut it, because what is it? There's like a whole storage and stuff like that. I think I got it down to where, like, if we were talking for like an hour and 46 minutes.
Yeah, I can see it too.
Yeah.
Well,
hell yeah.
I love you.
Love you too.
And who's ever listening, you have a great day tomorrow. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Prepare for success. That's the lesson.
Hell yeah.
And, we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Thank you for listening to the Dilettantes podcast. If you're listening to this on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. Comment anything you guys want us to talk about. You got any life advice? Or you got any funny situations? You got any questions for us? Go ahead. Hit us up. If you listen to this on any other podcast platform, we're working on it. We're slowly and surely building up. So far, we're on Spotify. So, if anything, we'll be building up our platform. So, yeah. You have yourself a nice day, and thank you for listening to us experts here.
Aloha.